For this assessment task, I use paint as the medium. Paint of different kinds such as homemade paint, artist gouache and watercolor paint. I wanted to explore making natural paint to do this assessment task to make a beautiful artwork rather than using paint bought from shop. I went to the kitchen and think about what I can use to make natural paint. I already knew that saffron is giving a strong yellow color as I have used saffron for my skincare during my high school time, and I remember how the yellow color remained in my skin even after I washed with water. Accordingly, I grabbed some ingredients such as saffron powder, chili powder, curry powder, and roasted curry powder, which I think can give a color effect like saffron do. All these ingredients are normally used in for cooking purpose. I also use the technique of mixing colors to produce new colors by using separate jars for each ingredient. As Lobo stated, painting has emerged in prehistory, and the oldest painting discovered are more than 42,000 years old. In prehistoric time, painting has been used as the main source to record events, culture, people, and places. From prehistoric time, art was used to document history, special events, as well as mean of communication. Even the people who do not possess the reading skill and not having the knowledge of letters or words also were able to understand the meaning of art. In the beginning, there was no any special artificial paint available, but only natural made paint used in mud, stone, extracts of flowers, fruits, and plants. Those artworks drawn using natural paint run back to thousands and thousands years, but still those paints remain the same, providing us with the opportunity to know history. All these show the importance of painting and the strong texture it possesses. The concept of painting is assemblage. The three variables of assemblage are the types of paint, surface that we put the paint on, and what we use to apply the paint. The concept of assemblage allows us to explore paint and use paint to explore personal, social, and cultural perspectives by considering how a shared artwork with the paint represents an assemblage of the people. Gilbert suggests when boundaries blur, improvising assemblages are most active and capable of expressing themselves. According to Pacini et al., paint on the floor, on easels, on walls, on bodies, on brushes invites different actions, different movements, different ways of being and becoming. The concept of painting is assemblage. I use different type of surface such as white papers, black papers, cardboard, glass, plastic, timber, and bricks, and applied the paint and engage in my experimentation. After carrying out my experimentations, I began to notice that paint made using household ingredients does not last long in many of the surfaces that I used, except for papers and cardboard. Those can be washed away with water easily and damage the artwork in all other surfaces. The same thing I noticed with the artwork that I did with the watercolor paint. Each surface extracts the paint differently. I watched how paint fingers and brush transform the paper. I also use paint brushes of different widths and with the thinking of creating different artistic effect. Apart from those tools, I use cotton buttons to create pointed drawing and cotton wools to extract the excess of paint and sponge to blend the colors to create beautiful artistic view. While engaging this activity, it made me to go back to my childhood and recreate my childhood drawings and some techniques that I used to draw and paint as a kid. It brought back my beautiful memories that I had during my school time. It is nice to have those feelings which made me happy. This exploration and drawing made me to so relax and think beyond in artistic way. I drew what instantly came into my mind in that moment. There was no pre idea on my mind. My thinking gradually flew with thinking of creativity. I also use the technique of mixing colors to produce new colors and to get my intended color. I use white watercolor paint to lighten the areas of the art and to correct any color mistakes that I did throughout my artwork. I kept a plastic container filled with water to clean the paint brushes that I used. I put the sponge to the water container and noticed how it absorbed the paint in the water container, which I used to clean the paint brushes. Wind was a little bit of a barrier to engage in my drawing on papers, as the papers kept flying away while I was drawing. Out of 100 languages of children, art can be considered as one of their language. According to Edward, children experiment and develop competencies in using spoken language, gestures, drawings, paintings, building clay and wire sculpture, shadow play, color, dramatic play, music, and emerging writing, to name but a few. We have to give the support and advice that is required for children to achieve their own artist and representational objectives and not be defeated by the materials. As stated by Bonginoro, process focused art does not have right or wrong way, anything predictable or set. When it comes to painting, it requires only free way of thinking or free flow of ideas. Therefore, there are endless possibilities associated with painting. Paint invites the reader to think with it and to do something with it. Most children are naturally social, creative, and inspired to exchange ideas, thoughts, questions, and feelings. They start by utilizing gestures, movements, visual and non-verbal cues, sounds, languages, and aided communication to engage in the world and build relationships. Children at their initial stage as babies are using non-verbal methods to communicate. Children use arts as a method of communication while making meaning. As stated in the Learning Outcome 5 of Earliest Learning Framework, children communicate effectively, interacting verbally and non-verbally with others for a range of purposes, and they are expressing their ideas and making meaning using a range of media. According to Australian Government Department of Education and Training, literacy incorporates a range of modes of communication including music, movement, dance, storytelling, visual arts, media and drama, as well as talking, listening, viewing, reading and writing.